Hello, every pony. This is Melanie Scratch here to read you Under the Harvest Moon by Rage Loss. This is an Apple Dash shipping fic, and I'm going to get started, so please enjoy. Saturday, 19th of the Harvest Moon. Dear Diary, I was wondering, what does it mean to be a good friend? Oh, I know you can't answer that, but it's okay. I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. You see, ever since the girls and I found out about the elements of harmony, I've learned a lot of things about friendship. From what I understand, being kind is enough to be a good friend. That's because there's 4 other elements to it: laughter, generosity, honesty, and loyalty. Without all 5, the 6th element, magic, wouldn't awaken. Does that mean some pony who is generous but dishonest wouldn't make a good friend? What about some pony who's kind but dull? Oh, I hope my friends don't think I'm boring. I'm not very good at entertaining other ponies. But anyway, like I said, each element is very important. Now, Now, just because a pony isn't honest all the time, or just because they act a little rude once in a while, doesn't mean they can't be a good friend, right? After all the elements don't always agree with one another. When a friend who is obviously can't cook invites you for a dinner and asks you if you liked it, you have a choice between being honest or being kind. You can choose honest and tell them the truth. You might motivate them to be a better cook, but you risk hurting their feelings. If you choose kindness and pretend you like it, you will spare their feelings, but their cooking might not improve. Either way, I like to think we have a fine balance between the elements. You can always lie to your friends, or they won't trust you. You can always be brutal, and they won't feel comfortable around you. It isn't always easy, but the choice we make and the changes we take in all sorts of different situations can define us and make us unique. Mr. Martinson has been doing well. He should be able to fly south for the winter without injuring his wing again. Harry has a new delicious recipe he wants to teach me this evening. The sun has already set on my way back home. I was going to make some tea when I heard a knock on the door. I flew over and cracked it open to peek outside. I like to be careful when I get visitors at this hour. After all, you never know. It could be a Timberwolf, or a dragon, or a sales pony. Hey, Fluttershy. Rainbow Dash greeted me from outside. With relief, I unlocked the chains and opened the door to welcome her in. Oh, hello, Rainbow Dash. Please, come in. I closed the door behind her, but I didn't lock it back. I didn't want her to feel trapped, even though she rarely used the door to leave. Would you like some tea? Yeah, she answered, seeming a bit distracted. Thanks, she added after a short pause. It wasn't like her not to look at me in the eye when we were talking, so I figured she needed to relax a bit. She usually avoided looking at ponies when she felt uneasy. I nodded. Please make yourself comfortable. I won't be a minute. With that, I walked back into the kitchen and added some sugar to Rainbow Dash's iced tea. That's how she likes it the best. Then I grabbed the plate and brought it back into the living room. When I arrived, Rainbow Dash was sitting on the couch, fiddling with her hoofs. She After I set the plate on the table, I poured each uh, eat a drink each. I sat next to her, giving her a little smile, hoping it would help. Is everything all right? Uh-huh, she replied absentmindedly as she grabbed her drink. She brought it to her muzzle and threw her head back slightly. After gulping half of it down, she lowered the cup and began staring into it thoughtfully. I knew giving her my undivided attention always made her feel better, so I turned to her and silently waited for her to talk. She glanced at me sideways a couple of times, then sighed into defeat. She began, then paused. She put her drink back on the plate. I have this weird feeling when She paused again, running her hoof through her mane nervously. Fluttershy, have you, I could have sworn. She blushed a little before her hoof met her face. Ugh! She was never very good with words. But that's okay. It's what a pony truly means to say that matters. I scooted closer and put a hoof on her shoulder to calm her down. Take your time, Rainbow. Her eyes darted across the floor as if looking for an invisible butterfly. When she finally spoke again, her voice was much softer. Have you ever had a crush on some pony? My mind reeled at the question for a bit. I certainly wasn't expecting that, especially not from Rainbow Dash. When addressing an embarrassing topic, she generally asks what others think about it first, so she can evaluate her opinion. But did that mean she had a crush on somebody? Oh, Rainbow Dash, you really are growing up after all. Oh, before I could answer, she nervously started again, a bit louder this time. I mean, I don't have a crush on a pony. I don't have a crush. It's more like... She was intensely staring at her own hoofs, making some hoof bump gesture, but I couldn't understand what she meant by it. Although I could feel she was getting frustrated, she finally deflated again. It's sappy. It's okay, I reassured her, letting it out would make her feel better. I was sure. Besides, I didn't mind the sappy. You know you can tell me anything. Rainbow Dash nodded, but keeping her eyes on the floor. I just want to... Her voice was barely over a whisper now. I want her to hug me and nuzzle me and... She slowly hugged herself as she talked. Yeah. Rainbow Dash remained silent for a while after that. She smiled. She looked really cute. So absorbed in her dream. But I figured that there would be more. Is that all? I mean, you are hugged and nuzzled as friends. Maybe it was something I said, but our cheeks gained an exceptional shade of pink. No, I mean, yeah, we do, but it's not the same thing. I didn't follow. But how? She lifted her her hoofs to her muzzle. Edit! She lifted her hoofs to her muzzle and thought about it for a second. We both hug, right? But I just want her to hug me, she explained. Or at least, I think that was an explanation. I had to admit, I was a bit confused. You don't want to hug her back? Of course I want to hug her back. I just, forget it. Why would you want to hug somebody back? Why wouldn't she want to hug somebody back if she liked them? I thought to myself. That's when I realized just how nervous Dash was. She wanted to be hugged. Oh, did she mean like a spoon hug? You would like to be the little spoon. At first, the dumbfounded look on her face insisted that I was wrong. Huh? But the more she thought about it, the redder she became. Yeah. Yeah, that's like that. I want to be that sounds so lame. She tried to hide her muzzle and her hoofs. I couldn't suppress a giggle. I had always pictured Rainbow Dash wearing the saddle in the relationship. When she was a born leader after all. But to be honest, I had always had my doubts. With the kind of friends she made during flight camp, I'm not sure she would have been able to anyways. More of them didn't have very good influence on her. Or at least, that's how I felt about them. It made me concerned, though. She had changed a lot since then, especially with what happened with Gilda not too long ago. But then, which one of her new friends could possibly make her this nervous? Who is it? I blurted out before realizing what I said. If you don't mind me asking, that is, I quickly added, so that she didn't feel pressured into telling me. In truth, I didn't really need to know. She already had enough trouble admitting having a crush on somebody. Interrogating her was rude of me. She hesitated regardless. I could tell. After a while, she glanced at me. You promise not to tell any, Pony? I nodded. That was the least I could do. I promise. Her voice was shaky a little. It's, She looked around carefully, probably making sure none of my animals were paying attention, then leaned in close and whispered, It's Applejack. I hadn't realized how tense I was until hearing the name. Sorry, my cat was sneezing. Add this to blooper reel. I hadn't realized how tense I was until hearing that name. I felt so relieved. How wonderful, I exclaimed. Applejack was a good friend. Blooper! Because I'm gonna have bloopers. Okay. I exclaimed. Applejack was a good pony. I knew she would take good care of Rainbow Dash after all. She was the first close friend we made after moving to Ponyville a few years ago. But Rainbow Dash just disagreed. No, it's not wonderful. I must say I was taken aback. It's not? That was all I could ask before she took off and began gesturing around wildly with her hoofs. What am I supposed to tell her? I suck at mushy stuff. I'm totally gonna mess up, and our friendship will be ruined, and it's all gonna be my fault. She finished, holding her head in her hoofs desperately. So that's why she needed help for. It made sense when I thought about it. She had so much trouble telling me how she felt. It's no wonder she was afraid of embarrassing herself in front of Applejack. However, I was a good friend with Applejack. Good friends with Applejack, too. So I knew better. Maybe you don't have to tell her. Rainbow wasn't buying it. What do you mean I don't have to tell her? I can't just keep feelings like this. I can't even sleep at night. I didn't think she understood, so I repeated. No, I mean, you don't have to tell her. Instead, maybe you can show her. Suddenly, she calmed down. Hey, yeah. She landed back on the couch, looking rather perplexed this time. But how? I smiled and put a foreleg around her shoulder. Well, you could start by spending more time with her. I knew that meant we would spend less time together, but if it made her happy, then it made me happy too. But we already see each other every week with the other girls. She argued. I figured she was rather confused, so I gave her a hint. Yes, but that's the point. You should spend more time alone with her. Oh, she slowly replied. But what? Wait, I can't be alone with her. She's always working at Sweet Apple Acres. Now I knew she was just making up excuses. Then why don't you go over there in the morning and offer some help with her chores? Knowing Applejack, she was probably busy with apple plucking season at this time of year. Rainbow was staring at me like I had said something silly. So I explained, that's way you can spend the rest of the day to yourself. Plus, I'm sure she would appreciate a helping hoof. She instantly brightened up at the idea. Oh my gosh, you're right! She lightly smacked herself across the head. Why didn't I think of that? She was soon flying again, but this time she looked ecstatic. Now I can't wait for tomorrow. I gotta get rested up first. If I'm gonna work all day. She hugged me goodnight and I hugged her back. Thanks a lot, Fluttershy. You're the best. With that, she bolted through the open window and into the sky. I giggled and waved, although she was already far out of sight. I can't wait to hear how it goes. Love, Fluttershy.
Okay, every pony, that was Under the Harvest Moon by Rage Loss. I'm still deciding on which one I'm gonna read next. I'm deciding of Magic of Love and I don't remember what the other one was. What was it? Oh, well, I'm probably going to start with the Magic of Love next, but you're hopefully going to be able to hear from me soon. So, see you guys later.